play or life.
So how do these creatures survive?
I really couldn't have done it without him, but I've seen many of my friends really struggle through their DPhil because they haven't had that support and that great relationship. So I would say do anything that you can to really make sure that you develop that bond and that you really understand what each other's perspectives are and what you need out of the relationship. Develop a great set of friends who are both in your area and outside to make sure that you can have that balance between really intense conversations about your academic area, but also someone completely different who can talk to you about what they're studying, and you can learn something new and really shut off for a while and do something different and develop these great friendships during your university career. Stay super organized. I think that was one of the things that really got me through was having a structure and having everything filed where it was supposed to be, and keeping my EndNote references up to date from day one, and just trying to keep some sort of structure around this crazy insanity.
Yeah. Well, it's absolutely essential to get a good network of people that you can talk to, bounce ideas off, and who are willing to share time with you to talk about your thing. Yeah. You know, of course you have to reciprocate with them. I would say that a strong network is absolutely essential. For the academic intellectual side, of course you need a strong network for having fun and friends, but that's not what I'm talking about. Getting a good relationship with your supervisor is critical. It's having compared my situation where my supers were really great, and pretty much available for me, with other people who find it quite tough to get a meeting together. I think that must be difficult. I don't know what the third tip would be. Just write everything down as you're going along. When I came to the final write-up, there was a lot of work I'd done, and I should have been better at documenting my thought processes as I went along. And mine isn't lab-based work, whereas the lab guys have got this discipline of writing in lab books. Yeah. But I think those of us who are on the edges of social research, if you like, it can be quite difficult to remember to keep everything. So I think being organised in your approach to work would be my third tip.
Find a research question that you really care about. It's a long time you're going to be wrestling with this question on your own in a study, and if it's a question that you're not totally committed to finding the answer to, I think that would become pretty hard going. So find something that is genuinely interesting to you, that you really care about and really want to sort out. So that would be my first tip. And incidentally, I completely changed my research focus about sort of a year and a half in. I decided that I wasn't all that interested in the question I'd started with, and so I changed direction totally. And having found a question that really fired my imagination, it was very much easier to proceed after that.
Peer group support is important. I think breaking the doctorate up into chunks when you're thinking about it. If you think about writing 85,000 words, that is a massive, horrendous task. My third tip for doctoral survival: have a life as well.
Well, at a very jokey level, when we ran this seminar, we used to have a biscuit tin that went round, and it was our collective biscuit tin, and we would put money in and took biscuits out. And that sense of sharing, as you know from organising lunches, is really important for people feeling part of a community and conversation. So don't forget the biscuits, number one. Number two, well, writing, always writing, trying out different types of writing, keeping notes, remembering where you're going as a sort of process, because you'll forget. You start off thinking you know what you're doing, but a year or two later, so tracking that process as a sort of field record of diary is really important. And thirdly, being brave enough to realise that actually you can do it for yourself. You can go out there. You can you can invite people to come. You can give a presentation at a conference. You can join in a workshop. Each time you do that is such a big step forward.
But what really happened?
Well, I wouldn't be here now if I hadn't done a PhD. I wouldn't have been able to have the kind of research and academic career if I hadn't studied for a PhD. I think also it changes your life in more fundamental ways. I think it changes the way you think. I think it changes your identity as a person, as a professional. You do become a different person. And that has many positive sides, but also perhaps it cuts you off a little from your background, for particularly in my day when not many people did have PhDs amongst your family and friends. So perhaps your different way of thinking and approaching life meant there were areas of your life that was harder to share with family and friends.
It gives you a sense of what it's really like to kind of do research, to be submerged in a big research project, which I mean, in one way it's a luxury that you never have again. Kind of once you've taken up an academic post and you're doing teaching and administration and all the other things, you don't really have the luxury of being able to spend all day every day thinking about your project. But it certainly prepares you for taking on a fairly substantial project, and that's going to take several years to complete, and losing yourself in it, and reading and thinking and struggling. So I think it's a pretty good preparation for academic life, if that's what you're doing it for.
The rewards are seeing students flourish, seeing new debates develop, contributing to a field. Yeah, there are lots of ways in which being part of a knowledge community is really rewarding.
So what have we discovered? The evolution of the graduate student into the doctoral candidate. The doctoral candidate into a new kind of extraordinary and diverse creature with remarkable capacity to achieve greatness and change the world forever. Thank you for joining me on this amazing journey.